So, one of the things that I think is most important is you do things because you think it is right and just, and you do things because um, you have a duty to do particular things. You don't do it for performative natures, right? So, this is really talking about the idea of, the vast majority of how people view the world is a logic of consequence, as Jim March pointed out, and Johan Olsen. This is like things like performance and money and, success and all of these kind of things. But in my experience, that's not why you actually do things. The idea that you actually perform a particular action because you think that you are going to become successful from that particular action is for the most part, completely nonsense. Um, there is a different logic that doesn't really get that much play, but I think it's far more important, and it's the logic of appropriateness. You do things because you do it for the right reasons, or you do it because there's duty, or you believe that you do things because that's really what you do in a just world, right? You say screw it to the outside world. You really have to do that time and time again. You have to be almost like a rebel. In your mind, you really are, where you're saying screw it to the outside world, and you just keep pursuing the thing that you know is right and just. And everybody says you're crazy, everybody says you're stupid, and all of those kind of things. They don't give you recognition, all of that stuff, right? They don't understand what you're doing. They're thinking you're wasting your time. They think that what you're doing doesn't matter. All of those things. That's the tried and true story of anybody that does anything that makes a difference. They sort of go against the grain of what the rest of the world says, and they stand up and they say, screw this. I'm going to do the thing that I think is right. And the story, I've seen it so many times. I've seen it in all sorts of, whether, innovation, innovators, entrepreneurs, whether you are going back to school, all sorts of stuff. You would be surprised the number of extremely successful business folks that have very lucrative careers just up and say, screw it. What am I doing here? And then they go into graduate school, and they sort of do something in graduate school that they think is important for a fraction of the pay, but they're doing it because they know it's the right thing to do. And it's like that everywhere. You do it because you know it's the right thing to do. You look at the world and you say, screw you to the rest of the world. I'm pretty damn good. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to pursue this thing no matter what. And I don't really care about the outside world, what you say. I know that this is really important. And man, it is true to my story. It is true to everybody's story. If you're going to do something, you really have to get your back up. And you do things because this is what you do. This is the appropriate thing to do. And the world is telling you completely the opposite. But you stand up and you do it anyways. You have that gumption where you look people in the eye and you're like, good for you. I'm going to do this anyways. They tell you, like, you're not good enough. They tell you you're a piece of crap. They tell you all sorts of stuff. Or, more of along the lines of what happens. Nobody tells you anything. You're barking into the wind. As it's this sort of metaphor of a dog just barking into the wind for no reason. Everybody thinks that you're crazy. Everybody thinks you're stupid. But they don't tell you that to your face. You just kind of are there. And you keep doing this thing. And you say, you know what? Who cares? I'm doing this thing because I know it's right. And I bark into that wind because I know it's right. And someday it will actually turn into something. I feel that way about the whole reciprocity project. I feel that way about all of my research. I feel that way about a lot of things in my life. I do these things because I know it's right. And I don't do it because of the performance aspect and the success aspect and all of that kind of stuff. It's such nonsense. It doesn't matter anyways. You could be a big fish in a small pond, or you can think about actually making a real difference in this world. And that real difference means for you to go against the grain. You stand up and you say, screw you to the rest of the world. Um, and you do the thing that's right. And you keep working at it. And you keep plugging away at it because you know it's the right thing to do. And I can't stress this enough. This is the attitude that almost everybody I know that makes a difference in this world takes. And they keep doing it over and over and over again. They're nice, um, but at the same time, they stand up and they say, screw you to the rest of the world. It's important. Keep it up. You got this.